Hold on, let me turn this down. I have to be very careful with my phone. It can fall very easily. But yeah, I probably shouldn't do this on an empty stomach because I'm really hungry, but I wanted to do this before having dinner. That way, it'll give me something to do while I'm waiting for this to upload. Plus, the hungrier I get, the better it'll be. I also want to apologize if you hear any screaming in the background. My brother is screaming his head off to his friends as usual. But yeah, here, let me get closer to the phone. Sometimes it gets echoey and not as audible if I'm like further away, but yeah, I apologize for any background noise. But yeah, I will be premiering this tomorrow. Well, as of recording that, as of like, once this video is like already uploaded and like, you know, people can watch it, like, it'll be done and over with, but the wait for the premiere. But Green Ethan told me that he doesn't have school tomorrow. You know, tomorrow as of recording this. So he requested that I do episode 2 tomorrow at 6 p.m. my time, 4 p.m. his time. I don't know if Ashton's will be able to come, but it'll be 7 p.m. for him. Yeah, I know. This whole time zone nonsense makes things so freaking complicated. But yeah, that's why if you're wondering why that I'm doing this now and not premiering Saturday, is because Green Ethan is still unsure about his availability for Saturday, and said that he'll be free tomorrow at 4 p.m. his time, 6 p.m. my time. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna premiere Saturday. It mostly depends on Green Ethan's availability, because his availability is a lot more strict than Purple Ethan's and Ashton's. That's why it seems like I'm prioritizing his availability over, you know, Purple Ethan's and Ashton's. I'm not trying to like prioritize him over Green Ethan over Purple Ethan and Ashton. It's just that, you know, I want to take advantage of him coming to premieres with me and sometimes Purple Ethan and Ashton when he can. That's why I mostly go by his availability. As for my availability, I probably have my availability is pretty free. Is like very free. Like I have literally all the time in the world. These freaking banshees are so annoying. But yeah, you know, I don't really have anywhere that I go to regularly, except like, you know, appointments and whatnot. But that's not like a daily thing. That's only like an occasional thing. So yeah, my availability is like very. Oh my God! Seriously, Orkia? Haha! Whoa! Thank you, Ashton. Tell him off, or tell her off. But yeah, I'm not. As for what I'm trying to say is, like, my availability, I'm not too worried about, since I don't have it, like, a job to go to right now, and like, any like daily stuff. So my availability is very, very free. I I I don't know what the right word for that is, but you know what I'm trying to say. So, I don't even really have to worry about my own availability, I mostly worry about Green Ethan's. Alright. We'll give it to Orkia, because she's going to be a permanent member. Oh my God. If she continues with this sparing, this is going to be a hectic Let's Play. But yeah, that's why I'm honestly more worried about Green Ethan's availability, even more than my own, because, he has the strictest one out of all of us, due to like being busy with like school, extracurricular activities, and like, him having to be very cautious about when he goes to premieres and whatnot. So yeah. Hell, if I do ever have stuff going on, like, it's usually like in the late, like in like, like early morning, like, or not early morning, late morning, early afternoon. That's usually when I have like family stuff, like, or when I have errands and appointments. It's very rare for me to not be not be at home when it's like late afternoon, evening, for example. That, other than like going on like, vacations, which I might vent more about that later in this episode, actually. I'm not talking about like, don't worry, this mostly involves family vacations. I'm not going to vent about like, the friend thing that we have planned, but I may just vent more about like vacations right now, how they are right now. But yeah. But yeah, that's about, other than vacations and like Christmas Eve. I'll put it this way, in the last year and a half to year and a half, I can probably count the number of times I had to run an errand in the evening / nighttime, and I'll probably have a few fingers to spare. That's how rare it is. Of course there's Christmas Eve, like, vacations, stuff like that, but other than that, it's very rare for for me to not be at home. Like when it's like at 4, like, you know, like late afternoon. Evening and nighttime, you know. I do remember I had to, or I didn't have to, I wanted to go. You know, I went to the store with my dad, like, I remember back in December of 2022. You know, I had an appointment for a haircut back in July. It was July 20th, I believe, you know. That had to be in, like, the late afternoon, early evening. Because that was the only time Nana can get me. You know, my grandma can get me in for an appointment. You know. We used to go out and get food. Like, for dinner. I'll leave it to you, Ashton. You know, like, after my dad got home from work, but... Now we just do DoorDash, you know. My brother will order DoorDash on like Fridays. You know, sometimes like throughout the week he'll get Golden Chick. But number one, I don't even go with him because in the first place because he's still uncomfortable with people driving. You know what I'm trying to say, you know, with, you know, people being in the car while he's driving. And second of all, that's around like lunchtime anyway. You know, he said that he usually, like, from, you know, he usually goes at like 1 to 2 o'clock, so that's not even the availability time that I'm talking about. I'm talking about more, you know, anywhere from 4 o'clock p.m. to 10 o'clock a.m. is probably my strongest availability time. Because, like, you know, early morning, like late morning, early afternoon is when I usually have like appointments, for example, to go to. Sometimes I'll go with my dad, like sometimes, for example, he'll get food. Like during the weekends, like instead of cooking, like sometimes I'll go with him. But again, that's like around like lunchtime, so that's not even the availability time I'm mentioning. But yeah, point is, I just want to let you all know, even though like it's kind of rare for me to like be busy, like my strongest availability time is probably late afternoon, evening, nighttime. Plus, I don't know, it's just a good time for me to do stuff. It's my favorite time to, like, you know, premiere videos. It's my favorite time to film videos. Like, it's just my favorite time to, like, do YouTube stuff. I don't know why. It just is. I'm just a nighttime person, you know? It's when... I know it's weird, but nighttime is when I want to do stuff. Or daytime, I'm usually kind of just... kind of bored. I don't know why I'm like that. Like, I feel like I could have what is apparently called night owl syndrome or something. I don't know. But yeah, I just want to let you guys all know that. You know, I much prefer to premiere videos. when it's like, late afternoon or evening rather than early morning, late afternoon. Not only because it's just when I feel most motivated to, but, I do occasionally have errands to run or like appointments to go to, for example. But yeah. With that being said, I'll still do live streams at like other times, like even if it's like earlier in the day. Like as long as like I don't have like anywhere to go to. So yeah, just keep that in mind, Green Ethan. I'm too lazy to figure out a war cry. I just want to play the game. Plus, you're 2 hours behind me anyway, so. And I'm 2 hours ahead of you, so. By the time I'm running like errands and whatnot, like during the days I have like errands and appointments going on, you're still busy, so I probably don't have to worry about that too much. These banshees are overpowered. Oh god. Well, okay. At least they're the slimes, not banshees. Well, good job, Sky. I get one good thing about you being on the Pacific time zone, Green Ethan, and me being on the Central time zone is like it makes like live streams work out really well, because by the time like you usually free for live streams, the better part of like my day is coming. So yeah. As much as time zones can be confusing, they do have their benefits. Another benefit is like, for example, let's say it's late at night and like a lot of like people with the same time zone as you like are asleep. You could have like a friend, for example, a friend who's like a few hours behind you or a few hours ahead of you, and they would like haven't gone to sleep yet or already had been to sleep and woken up. So yeah, time zones can be beneficial, but it does complicate things sometimes. Speaking of appointments, I may have an appointment very soon. I'll probably have some, doctor's appointments to go to pretty soon. As for like, a haircut appointment and like a dentist appointment, that could still be a while. I don't have my next dentist appointment until March. And I'm probably not due for another haircut until another couple of months. So we don't have to worry about, we probably shouldn't have to worry about that for a while, but yeah. Same with my doctor's appointments. By the time by the time you should be free to do a premiere, I should be done with whatever appointments or other errands I have. So yeah. I'm looking forward to possibly going to a psychiatrist actually, because I want answers. I know I've talked about this in my test video and in my previous episode, but I honestly really want to go. I'm a little apprehensive, sure, but I'm honestly mostly looking forward to it. Whereas with my first 2 doctor's appointments, I was nervous as hell. For my last one that I had on September 14th, I was actually looking forward to that one. Because, I already got my blood results 3 days prior, so I already knew about that. So I was I was honestly mostly looking forward to it because we had to go over paperwork for my guardianship, so I was actually curious about that. My dad is still my dad, I remember 2 weeks ago he said he was gonna make an appointment with me with his psychiatrist. If he didn't hear back from my doctor. By the time the psychiatrist opened up her office in our town. But I guess he changed his mind because he's still waiting on, because a few days ago, I think it was Friday, he said he was still waiting on Bree to call him. So either he changed his mind. He'd rather just wait for my doctor to call. Bree, is the name of my doctor. So either he changed his mind and just wants to wait on that, or that could be for the physical aspect. Because I think they still need to fill that part in. That seems like a pretty logical reason. Because they even said anyway, I remember they said that I'll probably have to go to a psychiatrist for the mental evaluation. that could be more about filling out the physical thing, and once we get the physical evaluation filled out, that's when my dad will make an appointment at the psychiatrist. Or I may, or who knows, I may actually have to go back for the physical evaluation. I got my blood work and all that done, but they may want to like take a closer look at me to confirm that I have type 1 neurofibromatosis. You know, I'm still not sure about how all this is going to go down, but I guess I'll find out. Oh boy. Hell, I know Purple Ethan. He also has neurofibromatosis. And oh boy. And I have another friend who has neurofibromatosis. I've noticed something. I freaking hate the one more time bullshit that monsters can do. But yeah. It seems like neurofibromatosis and autism spectrum disorder can go hand in hand. Or just somewhere on the spectrum. Because, you know, my friend Ethan has autism. You know, I'm somewhere on the spectrum. And, well, Benjamin Goodman hasn't said anything about being on the spectrum. He has told me about, like, some stuff that he deals with that are symptoms to being on the spectrum. So he could have it. But yeah. Benjamin Goodman, by the way, it's the name of an SNL character, but he likes to have his channel and profile picture as Benjamin Goodman. So in case you're confused, you know, that's what I mean by Benjamin Goodman. I'm not talking about the actual character, obviously, because the actual character is just a puppet, but just the user behind the channel. I love the freaking banana fritter skill. I don't know why, but I just find the animation satisfying. Someone wants a banana, then they go up, then like they do a sidewalk to them right quick, all confidently, and then they freaking fry up the banana in the pan. I don't know. I know, I'm a very easily amused person. But yeah. I know I've already been diagnosed to be somewhere on the spectrum, but that's the thing. Like, you know, that's a very vague and general diagnosis to get someone. I want more specific, more detailed answers. Ooh, good. Good. But yeah. Like I said, I feel like Asperger's could be where I am on the autism spectrum. I feel like that just makes the most sense. But who knows? I could have autism itself. And of course, I do deal with ADHD symptoms as well, so I could also have that. From what I heard, you have to have displayed symptoms. Like, before turning, like, the age of 12 to get the diagnosis. And looking back, I have displayed symptoms that could, or just behavior that could have been a result of ADHD. Now, it's hard for me to, like, really remember how, like, specifically how my, like, attention span was and whatnot before I turned 12, because, I'm 25 now. That was a while back, but looking back, I do remember having behavior that could be, like, be because of ADHD. For example, like, oh my gosh, people with ADHD, like, from what I've heard, struggle with organization. I dealt with that as well. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know. Maybe it has to do with having kind of a weak attention span and, like, not wanting to, and not having the mental capacity to sit there and keep things organized, because, yeah, I struggle with that big time. Another thing is I would always, like, I would always lose things. I remember I would lose things quite often back when I was in school. Like, I would lose pencils all the time. And I remember like there have been multiple times where I would, like, leave, like, my lunchbox or my jacket, for example. In like other classes. And there have been times where I would, like, just flat out leave my jacket at school, and my mom would be pissed off at me. Hell, I remember one time, like, I remember one day I left my lunchbox in Miss McLean's. Miss McLean, she was a teacher that I had in the 8th grade, 11th grade, and the 12th grade. This was in the 8th grade. I remember leaving my lunchbox in her classroom. Oh boy, the freaking horse. I remember leaving my lunchbox in her classroom. And I didn't realize it until it was lunchtime. So I remember I was like freaking out and crying. The story's kind of funny as well, though. You know, I wasn't sure where it is, so I was like crying and like just kind of panicking. And so I went and looked in, Miss McLean's room, which she was, she's mostly like a coach and a science teacher. So that was my science class, Earth Science, as that class was called. I'm just gonna leave the default for now. I'm not gonna waste my time customizing this thing. I'll do it off screen if I want, if I feel like it. But yeah, I went and looked in Miss McLean, my science teacher's room that I had in the 8th grade, and like I found it, and I saw it, and like it was on the shelves or something, and I was like, oh, thank God! And I scared the shit out of another student. it it was so funny. And then everyone started laughing. Like one of the students that was in the classroom was looking at me like I was crazy, and she was having hot Cheetos. And then so yeah, I basically go from crying to laughing in 5 seconds. And I remember the teacher had to. I remember as I was walking back to lunch, the teacher had to tell the class to settle down because I freaked them out apparently. Oh God. And then of course like the freaking jacket incidents, like that happened a lot. Like same with the folder incidents. I remember I would like leave my binders or whatever in other classes. And then my mom would get mad at me if I left my jacket at school. And like, I don't know. I mean, I get it, I guess it's normal to get upset with your child for leaving something at school, but I would always try to tell my mom to no, I don't want a jacket, but she would force me to bring one. That's what's hypocritical about it. I don't really like wearing jackets to begin with, but it's just a pain in the ass for me. It's just more shit for me to keep up with. And I would and yeah, that's what's kind of, I don't know if hypocritical is the word, but I don't really know the word to describe it, but I don't know, but why would you, I just don't understand it. Why would you force your child to bring something that they don't even want, and then get mad at them for leaving it at school? If anything, it's kind of her fault for forcing me to bring something that I didn't even want to bring to begin with. I get that it's cold outside, but oh my God, I'm in a freaking I was in a freaking building the entire day. I'm only outside like a few, like, I don't know, a couple of minutes, if even that long, to go, like, to get into the truck, and then go to the bus stop, then, like, and then, like, to get off the bus and go into the building. Like, I'm only out, like, now, recess, yeah, like, I was outside, like, more during, like, during, like, middle school years, because, like, I had recess, and then, like, sometimes, like, I would go outside, like, after I have my lunch, but other than that, like, I'm only spending, like, a couple minutes throughout the day, like, inside. I don't understand why she would force me to bring a jacket just for the freaking 5 minutes, if even that long, throughout the day that I'm outside for. Like, I don't freaking get it. Oh my god. You know what? Nah, I'll name it Fudge. I was gonna name it Venus after my favorite character from Solar Balls, but I'll name it Fudge because that Venus is a male. Fudge. But yeah. Like, I just don't understand it. Why would my mom make me go through the trouble of keeping up with a jacket throughout the entire day, only for me to? Just for the freaking 5 minutes I'm outside, and then get mad if I, like, lost it. Like I said, I guess it's kind of understandable to be upset about your child losing something at school, but if you forced them to bring it with them, it's kind of the parents' fault as well. God. But yeah, I know some of you are probably thinking that I could just, like, I could have just shoved the jacket into my backpack, but it makes it harder. Like, it makes my backpack crowded. Like, it makes it harder to, like, search through, and just makes it more crowded. So that's why I never bothered to do that either. But yeah. Point is, like, that is known to be a symptom or behavior of ADHD. It's hard for us to keep track of stuff. And I don't know, it could have easily been avoided if my mom wouldn't have, like, forced me to bring a jacket with me. She can be kind of an overprotective Karen when it comes to certain stuff. Like, I remember, like, she agreed that people were not allowed to run even if they were, like, outside. Like, inside, I understand, but people should be allowed to run, like, if they're outside. That rule should only apply, like you know, the no, like, not, like, you know, no running should only apply, if you're inside any of, like, you know, the buildings, but as long as you're outside, you shouldn't get bitched at for running. And I told my mom about that, and she agreed with them. She said, "It's so you don't get hurt." What do you think, like, what do you think I am? Like, am I that freaking clumsy to you? God damn. And sometimes I would just tell my mom stuff, like, in a lighthearted way, and then, like, she would get bitchy at me. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. My mom can be, my mom does have her good moments, but yeah, she can be a very complicated person. Lever. Oh yeah, Green Ethan. I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. Ashton, Purple Ethan, you already know about about this, so this will mainly be for Green Ethan. Number 1, I decided to not ship my OCs with canon characters anymore. The reason is because, you know, I want my OCs to be like, you know, I just want my OC world to be like original nowadays. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate, you know, I'm not one of those people who generalize OCX canon ships. You know, a lot of people like to just generalize them, and like, that's not good. I get that there are some shitty ones out there, but even I still agree that people shouldn't generalize them. For example, I love Boomer and Felicia and Lisa and Mona, and I enjoy the ones Purple Ethan has. It's just that, you know, I prefer to keep things original nowadays. Plus, it's easier to make pictures and ask for ships that are original. Or, you know, that are OCXOC rather than OCX canon. Because some people don't like to, like, you know, draw them because of copyright reasons and because they just hate OCX canon in general. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know because Francine and Moose now have new lovers. Instead, I decided to make OCs for them inspired by Moose and Lapete. But yeah, don't worry. I still love your OCX canon ships, Green Ethan. I just prefer to ship OCXOC nowadays. And of course, Canon X Canon, but I'm mostly referring to OCXOC, OC stuff. But yeah, I think that's a good solution. I thought that was a good solution too. That way, having OCs resemble the canon characters they were with. That way the ship can still have the same vibe and resemblance. Another example, I don't know if you were familiar with this one, Green Ethan, but another ship that I had that I changed was Icy and the Ice Queen. Instead, Icy is with someone who kind of resembles her. Personality wise, you know, she doesn't really have the same color scheme, but they do have a similar personality, and she has, you know, her name is Zara with an X. You know, she's like badass and elegant like the Ice Queen, and she has the ability to make blizzards and tsunamis and just natural. She has the ability to make natural disasters pretty much. Similar to how the Wind Queen has like ice abilities. But yeah, worry not. I still have Sky and Maurice because I know that is one of your favorite ships from me. It's just that I prefer to ship my OCs with other OCs nowadays. I'm still a self shipper, don't get me wrong. I still self ship. Oh my gosh, she loves them. Awesome. Makes my life a lot easier. Some people consider self-inserts to be a type of OC, and like in that case, I guess, you know, my self-insert ships are my only exceptions, but as for my OCs, you know, I prefer to ship them with other OCs nowadays. But don't worry. I still enjoy a lot of, not all of them of course, because there are OC X canon ships that that are disheartening, but don't worry, Green Ethan. I still enjoy yours and Purple Ethan's and some others. Aw, concerned. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know, Green Ethan. Hell, sometimes I even change my OC XOC ships around. But don't worry, Sky and Maurice are staying together forever. They're one of my favorite OCXOC, you know, one of my favorite ships I have, along with Orkia and Manton, Daisy and Cole, and Vincent and Blanche. Oh yes, finally, praise. I love the freaking praise when praise is activated. It's so cute. I hope we get the banana fritter activation at least once before the greenhorn realm is over. Because I don't know, there's just something amusing and satisfying about it. Plus, you get like twice as much HP, I believe, from it. The person who, like, you know, is eating a banana. So that's another reason why it's awesome. Oh yeah, another thing I wanted to ask you, Green Ethan. Have you ever heard of a channel called Solar Balls? Because me, Ashton, and Purple Ethan absolutely love it. You know, we all love astronomy, and judging by what you've judging by you having Sky and Maurice as your favorite ship from me, and the and like that astronomy book that you've been working on, you know, I think you would enjoy it too. But yeah, the channel is called Solar Balls, and it came out like in the web series came out on June 1st, 2022. I mean, it's already November, but it doesn't seem like that long ago because time flies, but yeah, it can be argued that it is still a relatively new channel or new web series. But yeah, I would highly recommend checking it out, especially if you love astronomy. Like me, Ashton, and Purple Ethan. Hell, one of Ashton's dream jobs besides animator and electric guitarist is an astronomer. A fucking log. Nice. It's the thought that counts, I suppose, but I don't know what made her think I would like a freaking log. That's kind of cursed, but it'll do for now. You know, I freaking love November so much. November, the end of the year, the last 2 months, November and December, is probably one of my favorite times of the year, if not my favorite time of the year. January is boring. I like February because, it's the month of Valentine's Day. Plus, January and February, it's still like very cold. March, fucking daylight savings time, and it already gets too hot. September and October are pretty good because like fall mode, but November and December are where it's at. We have daylight savings time ending, we have Thanksgiving, we have Christmas, we have fall, we have cool weather, we have colorful trees. It's just such a freaking nice and eventful time of the year. I freaking love November with a burning passion. My November last year was kind of a mixed bag. Of course, I have good memory. There was some good stuff that happened last year in November. Hell, I've even talked about it with you guys throughout my Let's Play because that's when I started. That's when I started my last Let's Play. It was the Sunday of daylight savings time ending. Last year when I did my last Let's Play. And I released quite a few episodes in November actually. I think I released 11 or 12 episodes that came out and they were all in November. And I talked with you guys just about about everything, about a lot of the stuff that has happened that happened last year in November. And like Ashton and Purple Ethan, I think I remember telling you this for sure. Ashton, I don't know if I've told you this. Green Ethan, you probably know what I'm about to. You probably know about the situation, or the incident, because you watched my Let's Play. You were keeping up with my Let's Play, which I appreciate it. But I believe it was the night of It was like the night of November 15th or November 16th. Of course, this was 2022, last year. And, I was just trying to mind my own business. I was having myself some nice dinner. I tried cooking myself ham and eggs for dinner. And then, like, my brother tries to get me to unblock our mom. I don't have her blocked anymore, but at the time I decided to keep her blocked because oh yeah, that's right, Ashton. You do know about the situation, the overall situation, but I don't know if you know about this particular night of the incident. What had happened was my brother apparent or my mom apparently tried to get my mom to tell him to tell me to unblock her. And I was just like, look, I don't want to risk dealing with the Chris nonsense. So I tell her, and so I'm like, I'm sorry, but I just don't want to deal with all that Chris nonsense. So I hear him. So then I go up to his room and I hear him kind of talking shit about me to her. And yeah, I don't know. That night was just really hurtful for me. I mean, I don't entirely blame my brother because it was probably my mom telling him to. Do it to begin with, but my brother knows about the situation. Like, he should have been more understanding about the situation. Unfortunately, Flambe is the moles can dodge the Flambe attack, but thankfully Ashton and Sky took care of it. But yeah, that kind of just fucked up the rest of my year because I don't know, I just had a lot on my mind. Concerning my mom throughout the rest of the year, but I think I remember starting to feel better. That the Monday after, because I think that was the night I started on my autism spectrum disorder book. And I don't know, that just helped to kind of alleviate the whole situation a little bit, because you know that's how writing is for me. You know, it can be very cathartic. But yeah, I don't know. Up until Mother's Day, I just felt there was just a lot on my mind concerning my mom. Thankfully, November 17th, which I think was a day or two after it happened, that was a pretty good day, I'll admit. I mean, I was still feeling upset about the situation, but there were a few good things that happened that day. Like, I remember my brother getting Golden Chick for lunch. And there was like a really good Solar Balls episode that came out that day, I remember. So those were nice. That helped me to feel a bit better. But yeah, I feel like it could, you know, the whole Chris situation aside and all that, I feel like I could also have OCD. I feel like I do have OCD behavior regarding my mom, because even though I shouldn't have, I did feel I did feel guilty about not, you know, talking or texting her for a while, because you know, the whole Chris situation. I probably shouldn't have felt guilty, but I don't know why, but I just did, even though it was mostly her fault. And I was also feeling distressed about some incidents in the past about her forcing me to wear earrings and threatening to sneak them in my ear while I'm sleeping. And like, I don't know, it was just really hard to get that out of my mind. Thankfully, I started to feel a lot better once. You know, once it was Mother's Day, not only did Ash draw me, you know, my friend Ashton, he drew me something wholesome for Mother's Day, because he sees me as a mother figure. And if you're watching this, Ashton, thank you so much. But yeah, I had a good talk with my mom that day, so I did feel a little, I did start to feel a little bit better. The only thing that kind of went wrong was when I was trying to tell her that she never forced makeup and jewelry on me when she did. You know, that's the only thing that kind of went wrong about the phone call, but other than that, it went pretty good. You know, I I I borrowed someone's phone to talk to my mom. I don't know if it was my dad or my brother's, but you know, I borrowed one of their phones because I still had my mom blocked to prevent, you know, Chris from texting me. So yeah, that November was kind of a mixed bag. But thankfully, Chris should be out of the picture for a while, so I shouldn't have to worry about it anymore. Unfortunately, though, my brother will still text me about talking to mom, or my mom will complain to my dad about me not talking on the phone. Because my mom is extremely ignorant about that. You know, I try to get through to her head, get it through her head that talking on the phone is extremely awkward for me, but she just does not listen. So, unfortunately, there is a chance of that happening. Not just in November, but just anytime. So, yeah, I do have to watch out for that, but at least Chris should be out of the picture. And we'll play it a little bit more. I'm gonna end this episode pretty soon, though. But yeah, thankfully, unless something happens, or you know, something unfortunate happens, I shouldn't have to deal with the bullshit that I dealt with last year in November. Thankfully, though, oh god, Sky and Orky are at it again. It's funny because they get along in canon, but they just don't get along in Miitopia for some reason. But yeah, I felt like sometimes I do feel like I deal with OCD when it comes to real events. That has happened to me in the past. And it's hard to get like the thoughts out of your head. Because that's what that is the main characterization of OCD, is like, you know, intrusive thoughts. And having compulsions to like alleviate those thoughts. Although compulsions don't have to be actions, sometimes compulsions can just be like, you know, thinking like thoughts like that have like that are kind of like the opposite of the intrusive thoughts. You know what I'm trying to say. People call it neutralizing thoughts, you know, thoughts that like that are like basically the opposite of intrusive thoughts, and that counter and alleviate the intrusive thoughts. But yeah, that's definitely one of my main compulsions that I have, is the whole countering the intrusive thoughts with the opposite thoughts or whatever. Sky is a woman of nighttime. She can. Oh, I thought she was gonna deny it. I was like, excuse me? Oh, another thing we did with our OCs recently was we gave them shared families. For example, my OCs, Sky and Maurice, adopted Sierra, which is one of Ashton's OCs, as their daughter. I thought that was an amazing idea. And the funny thing was, like, I was actually thinking about it too, but like, it was after we came up with the shared friendships idea, but of course, before the shared families idea. Because we decided for Sky and Sierra and Maurice to be really good friends. So I was honestly thinking, I wonder what it would be like if Sierra was their adopted daughter, but I didn't say anything because I didn't know Ashton would agree to that. But the funny thing is, he actually mentioned about it. Or he actually mentioned about it. Not like yesterday as of recording this, but 2 days ago as of when this video is premiering. And I thought that was a really cool idea. Peter, for example, is one of my OCs, and he's actually adopted by 2 of Ashton's OCs. And there's one that me, or Purple Ethan, and Ashton all share. My OC, I have an OC named Valerie, shipped with Ethan's OC named Vance, and they adopted Armando, which is one of Ashton's OCs. And yeah, I thought that was a really cool idea. Having shared families. Alright, I'm gonna end this episode now since I don't want it to run too long. Oh god. Oh wow, she's actually okay with that. Wow. Huh. Well, it was enough to get us to level 5 apparently. Aw, Ashton. Oh, you're jealous of me? Excuse me, son? Why are you jealous of your own mother? Well, that was an interesting way to end the episode. I will talk to you guys later. Boy.